Have you ever been TV shopping and you see how amazingly bright and vibrant all the TVs look playing their demo videos in the store? So you get all excited, you pick your favorite one, you get home, unbox it, set it up, and it's nothing like it was in the store. Well, this newly released LG GX7 OLED is exactly like that, but the opposite, if you know what I mean. When you take it home, it's exactly like what it was in the shop. Now, I've been using IPS for about 4 years, and I was pretty skeptical on whether or not OLED was actually going to be worth it. So I decided to pull the pin and go with this glossy WOLED panel so I can decide for myself. And as far as first impressions go, the unboxing experience was a bit of a weird one. There's a protective layer of styrofoam you remove to get to the monitor, which is wrapped nicely in a foam bag, but then you need to lift the monitor out, then lift another layer of styrofoam to then get to the monitor stand and accessories pack. The included stand is pretty sturdy though, and it does have a decent design with some nice finishing touches. And the accessory pack does include all the cables you need to get you up and running, which is nice to see. It includes a HDMI 2.1 cable, a DisplayPort cable, a USB cable to power the built-in hub, and the power cables and mounting safety straps. There's of course all the booklets which no one actually reads, but I'm glad I did browse through it this time, as it does state you need to put the monitor through an image cleaning on first use, which I didn't do until after I read it. Anyways, getting to the monitor itself, you need to remove that foam bag by sliding it off sideways, which was awkward to hold and impractical. But putting that all aside, the monitor's glossy panel actually looks very good despite the bezels being thick all around. The on-screen display menu is controlled by a joystick that's located at the bottom center of the monitor, and personally I don't like the location because of the layout I have for my monitor setup. So for now, I am moving my portable monitor out of the way to access the joystick, but this means I need to rethink my layout. The included monitor stand allows you to adjust it up and down. You can swivel left and right, and you can tilt it into different angles. It does not have a pass-through for cables, but you are provided with a clip to hold your cables down to the back of the stand. And checking out the back of the monitor, you can see it has the same basic design principles from the UltraGear lineup, but it is lacking any RGB lighting. And while there is this nice UltraGear logo on the back and a decent pattern on the body, the plastic does look and feel somewhat cheap, but all of this is to be expected because this is more of a budget WOLED, which usually retails for 800 US, 550 British pounds and 1200 Australian dollars, but I managed to pick it up during Black Friday sales for 700 Australian. So it's all about the compromises. Bringing down the price, but removing things like RGB and using simpler materials for the design. It's perfectly fine with me. Anyways, so this is the LG 27GX704A, which is a 27-inch 1440p WOLED panel, and it supports VRR and HDR. It has two HDMI 2.1 inputs and one DisplayPort 1.4a input. It also has a built-in USB hub with two USB 3.2 ports, which can be pretty convenient for plugging in wireless receivers for your peripherals, for example. And the power transformer is not built into the monitor, as it has a separate external power pack. There's also a headphone jack on the underside for easy access, I guess, to hook up wired headphones, but it's not something that I personally like because when I reset up my PS5 to this monitor from my TV, the only way I'm going to be able to get audio will actually be through AUX to external speakers, and having a cable dangle from the bottom of the monitor rather than the back, it's not ideal. The monitor features a 240Hz refresh rate, a 0.03 millisecond gray to gray response time, which means how fast a pixel can change from one shade of gray to another, and the lower the number, the less ghosting. So in this case, it practically means no ghosting. It uses a third generation WOLED panel with a glossy finish, and traditionally WOLEDs have been matte panels, but the GX7 is part of the newer models that are getting a glossy finish instead, which basically means you'll have better image clarity, colors will be stronger and more vibrant, and you will absolutely have truer blacks. And in practice, I must say they absolutely are. The panel covers 98.5% of the DCI-P3 color gamut, and it has 275 nits typical brightness and peaks at 1300 nits. It's got 1.5 million to 1 contrast ratio and has display HDR 400 True Black certification, along with supporting AMD FreeSync Premium Pro and Nvidia's G-Sync. This monitor has a game mode feature, a read mode feature which helps to reduce eye strain, and has something called black stabilizer, which makes it easier to see details and any hidden enemies in dark areas. And it also has the option to enable an FPS counter and a crosshair overlay. Okay, that was a lot. But yes, before anyone asks about burn-in, the monitor does have built-in protection features like OLED screen move, with different modes that slightly shift the image around to reduce the risk of retention. Now, I've had it set to mode 1 for the past week, and even while writing this script, I haven't noticed anything distracting on screen. I'll keep tracking it over the next few months and I'll let you guys know how it holds up, but it's not something I'm personally worried about right now. As for warranty, LG gives this model a 2-year warranty, but burn-in coverage will actually depend on where you live. From what I can tell through research, the US warranty includes the OLED panel and it doesn't exclude burn-in, while the Australian warranty specifically excludes image retention. So just keep that in mind, just depending on where you live. Look, regardless of that, I have been researching and waiting for the right time to buy an OLED monitor, and I was skeptical at first, like I said. Was OLED actually going to be worth it? Well, upgrading from my 4-year-old IPS monitor, the difference was actually not that immediate at first. My wallpaper for the most part looked the same across my monitors, but as soon as I opened up settings to set the max refresh rate, I noticed it right away. The settings window was much more vibrant, the viewing angles between the two were incomparable, and the motion clarity was absolutely nuts. And if you set up a black wallpaper and minimize a white window, it literally looks like the screen turned off. The blacks are that deep. Now again, this is the first OLED I've owned, and I went with WOLED because QD-OLED has a purple haze over the panel under light, and that was just something I didn't want for my preferences. And while glossy finished OLEDs are said to look better than matte or anti-reflective, it really comes down to the environment you're in. As you can see here with a lot of natural lighting, it's not killing the display's performance or brightness. In fact, checking out these scenes from the Batman or the Flash movies, you can see just how vibrant the colors are side by side with my IPS monitor, and just how black the darker scenes are in Jedi 2. However, one of the biggest drawbacks of glossy panels is reflections, and when it came to picking my OLED monitor, I was so focused on getting WOLED and glossy for vibrancy, avoiding QD-OLED because of the purple haze, which is actually due to their lack of polarizers in the quantum dot layer. I forgot to account for glare. But it's all about compromise, as I said, and it is manageable, so it's not a deal breaker for me, but something that you guys should probably consider. Now, I'm not sure if I was being paranoid or not, but when I was setting up the monitor, I caught a quick glimpse of the white desktop in the reflection of the monitor, and it looked like it had a purple haze over it. So I thought to myself, oh no, is this in fact a QD-OLED? So I pulled out my flashlight and I tried the light test that I see many other YouTubers do across QLED panels, and I didn't really see any purple hazing, which was good. And every piece of information online points to this panel being a WOLED, but it's not specifically written WOLED on LG's website. So let me know in the comments if you do currently own a QD-OLED panel, is this showing that same purple haze, or am I in fact being paranoid? Anyway, so I gave the monitor a quick whirl in Marvel Rivals, and as you can see with a side-by-side comparison with the IPS monitor, the OLED colors are much more vibrant and there's no ghosting or blurring, and the darker scenes look so much better. I still failed in the game a lot though, so it won't help with skill. But look, the best way I can describe it is it's like the IPS monitor has a very thin layer of fog or something that slightly cuts out saturation and vibrancy when you're comparing it with OLED side by side. And those of you who have watched my other monitor videos, you know I love my IPS monitors, but this is something different. Even on the PS5, Spider-Man 2 looks phenomenal. When the PS5 Pro launched, reviewers said to upgrade your display first instead of your console because the standard PS5 already looks incredible on a good display. And they were right. Anyways guys, that's my first look at the LG 27GX704A WOLED. And as far as first impressions go, this monitor is absolutely amazing. Like, the colors are definitely a lot more vibrant than my previous IPS panel. The blacks are black, and VRR is working perfectly with the PS5, which is a nice change from the TCL situation I've got here, but I'll get into that in a different video. The glossy finish really does pick up reflections, but it's manageable in my setup. So is this the best value 1440p OLED? For me, yeah, absolutely. For the price, you're getting a glossy WOLED with proper VRR, great color accuracy for editing, and true blacks for gaming. And yes, there are brighter OLEDs out there that are 4K and they have higher refresh rates, but for the price and for what I need it for, this ticks all the boxes. If you're editing content or you're gaming on a budget, this is probably one of the best OLEDs that you can pick up right now without spending over $1,200. I'm going to be using this as my main display from now on. I'll be editing and gaming over the next few months, so I'll have a proper follow-up showing how it holds up with daily use and whether the reflections become a problem. Oh, and if there's any burn-in to worry about. I'm also planning an IPS versus OLED comparison video to show you exactly what the upgrade looks like side by side, and I'll test it properly with all of PS5's features to see if it actually makes a difference in real gameplay. So if you want to see those videos, don't forget to drop a like on this one and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss them. Oh, and let me know in the comments below if there's anything specific that you want to see in those videos. Thanks again for watching everyone, and I'll catch you in the next one.